Do you think your birth was random? Think again. Because the last digit of your birth year is not just a number. It's a code, a key. It holds the truth about who you were born to become. And if you ignore it, you ignore your purpose. This isn't superstition. This is insight. This is destiny decoded. If your birth year ends in 1, you are not here by accident. You are here with intention, precision, and fire. The number 1 is the beginning of every story, every breakthrough, every revolution. It's the point where nothing becomes something. If you were born with this number, it means the universe marked you as a starter, a pioneer, a path forger. You are the one who steps forward when others hesitate. You are the one who initiates the movement before anyone else even dares to speak. That kind of energy is rare. It doesn't blend in, it breaks through. You were never meant to follow the crowd. In fact, crowds drain you. Conformity suffocates you. You thrive when you're forging your own way, taking the risk others are too afraid to take. While others wait for signs, for validation, for permission, you move. You act on instinct, driven by a vision that only you can see. And that's what makes you different. That's what makes you powerful. You don't just believe in change, you are the change. You weren't made to fit inside the lines. You were made to redraw them. There's a reason you often feel misunderstood. The world doesn't always know what to do with someone who refuses to be defined. But here's the truth, your uniqueness is not a flaw, it's a force. You weren't born to be understood. You were born to be remembered. People might call you intense, too much, too bold, but those same people will later call you a visionary. Because what they call too much today is exactly what the world will celebrate tomorrow. That spark inside you, the fire to build, lead, create isn't noise, it's your calling. You carry within you the power to start what others only dream of. Whether it's a business, a movement, a message, or a moment, you're the one who dares to go first. That takes courage. That takes resilience. You will face resistance, but resistance doesn't stop you, it sharpens you. Every obstacle you face was placed there not to break you, but to build the kind of strength only a true leader can possess. You don't crumble in pressure, you rise. You expand. You ignite. And let's be clear, leadership isn't about titles. It's about impact. The number 1 is not just a crown, it's a responsibility. You're here to show others what's possible. Your voice carries weight. Your choices set a tone. You may not always realize how deeply your presence affects people, but it does. People watch you. They mirror your courage. When you step into your authenticity, you give others permission to do the same. That's your power. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You only have to be real. That alone shakes the ground. So when the world tries to quiet your voice, remember this, you were born to speak up. When it gets lonely out front, know this, you were born to lead. And when the pressure feels too heavy to hold, remind yourself you were built for this. You are the flame starter, the trailblazer, the spark that sets everything in motion. You were never meant to wait for the world to change, you were born to light the match. If your birth year ends in 2, you were born with a gift that most people overlook, emotional intelligence. You're deeply tuned into the energy around you. You feel everything. The pain in someone's silence. The truth behind a fake smile. You don't just hear words, you hear intentions. That sensitivity isn't weakness. It's your superpower. In a world full of noise, you listen. In a world obsessed with power, you lead with presence. You don't have to be the loudest in the room to make an impact because your energy speaks before you do. Your strength lies in your ability to connect. Where others build walls, you build bridges. Where others see division, you see common ground. People come to you not just to talk, but to be seen, to be understood. You make others feel like they matter. And that is rare. In a society that often praises aggression and dominance, your quiet strength is a revolution. You don't chase attention, you earn trust. You don't manipulate, you heal. And that healing energy you carry, it's exactly what the world needs more of. Life may have tried to harden you. Maybe you've been told you're too sensitive or that you feel too much. But feeling deeply is not a flaw, it's proof that you're alive, that you care, that you're awake to what others try to ignore. You absorb pain, yes, but you also transform it into compassion, into understanding, into wisdom. You see the battles people are fighting beneath the surface, and instead of judging them, you offer grace. That kind of empathy isn't taught, it's encoded in you. You often carry the weight of emotions that aren't yours. People lean on you, open up to you even when they barely know you. That's not by accident. That's your energy at work. You create a safe space without even trying. But here's the catch: you need to protect your own energy just as fiercely. Being a healer doesn't mean you have to bleed for others. Being compassionate doesn't mean you have to carry every burden. Your heart is your compass, but your boundaries are your shield. Honor both. You may not be the first to jump into the spotlight, but when you do speak, people listen. Because your words are grounded, thoughtful, measured. You don't speak to impress. You speak to connect. Tanak. And in that connection, you have the power to shift perspectives and calm storms, to unite people who've forgotten how to fly. Your influence runs deep. It's not about visibility. It's about impact. And the impact you make is lasting because it comes from a place of truth. This world needs more leaders like you, those who lead not with fear, but with heart. Those who understand that strength isn't about control, but about compassion. That vulnerability is not weakness, it's the birthplace of trust, of connection, of real transformation. You weren't born to dominate. You were born to elevate, to lift others through presence, to remind this world that kindness isn't soft, it's powerful. You are the empathic bridge in a divided world. And even when no one sees the full depth of what you carry, remember your energy is doing more good than you know. You find beauty in chaos, music in the mess, stories in the silence, and even in your lowest moments, your creative search is for light. That is your nature, to feel deeply, express boldly, and transform pain into purpose. But with that gift comes intensity. Your mind never stops. It's live with ideas, possibilities, and dreams that sometimes even you can't explain. You feel this pressure inside you to create something meaningful, something that outlives you. And when you don't, you feel restless, like you're betraying a part of yourself. That tension is real. It's the cost of being a visionary. The world often tells dreamers to get real. But what they don't understand is this: you are the one shaping reality. You imagine what others can't earn, and then you build it. You've likely struggled with being misunderstood. Your ideas might seem too big or too strange for those who've settled for average. But your uniqueness isn't a problem, it's your power. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to disrupt, to challenge, to awaken. You may not follow tradition, and you're not here to play it safe. That unpredictability makes you dangerous to systems that thrive on sameness. But it also makes you unstoppable. You don't copy the world, you redefine it. People with your energy are the innovators, the storytellers, the artists, the performers, the truth speakers. Your voice has the power to awaken people who've forgotten how to feel. Whether it's through words, art, music, movement, or design, your expression opens hearts. You have the courage to say what others are afraid to say. And when you do, people don't just listen, they change. You don't follow scripts. You write them. You don't mimic reality, you reshape it. And in doing so, you give others permission to be themselves. You don't just dream about success, you construct it. Brick by brick, with discipline, focus, and an unwavering sense of purpose. Your strength isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. Because it speaks through action, through consistency, through foundations that don't crack when life shakes the ground. Your energy is grounded, rooted, dependable. People may not always understand the depth of your loyalty, the weight of your commitment, the intensity of your standards. But that's because they don't see the hours you spend perfecting, planning, thinking 10 steps ahead. You were born with a mind built for systems, for strategy, for structure. And in a world addicted to shortcuts, you understand the truth. Real results don't come overnight. They come through showing. G up every day, doing the work no matter what, and trusting the process even when no one's watching. You are the type who people rely on but often forget to thank. Because what you do can be invisible until it's gone. You're the backbone of the team, the foundation of the family, the planner behind the progress. And while that might feel lonely sometimes, it's also a sign of your importance. Without you, things fall apart. People don't realize how much strength it takes to be steady in a world that's constantly shifting. But you don't need praise, you need purpose. And when you have that, nothing can move you. Your challenge is this: to not let your need for control limit your growth. Yes, you are built for order, but life will always test you with chaos. Your lesson is not to resist the storm, but to build through it. To know that even when plans fail, your ability to adapt and rebuild is what truly defines you. Flexibility isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Let go of perfection. Hold tight to progress. You were born to create things that endure, but not at the cost of your own peace. There is a power in your patience. You are not impulsive, and that's not a flaw, it's a gift. In a world that rewards fast fame and instant gratification, you understand the value of timing. You plant seeds others forget to water. You wait when others rush. And when your moment comes, your results last. Because they weren't born from luck, they were born from labor. You don't get lost in hype. You're too busy building the future. You represent the builders of legacy. The ones who don't just think about today, but shape the next generation. Your work may not always be glamorous, but it's essential. You hold the vision and the discipline to make it real. You are not here for the temporary, you are here for the timeless. And every time you commit to the grind, every time you rise early, stay late, and refuse to give up, you prove one thing: greatness isn't given, it's built. And you're the builder. If your birth year ends in 5, you were born with the spirit of freedom. You are the explorer, the wanderer, the question asker, the risk taker. While others stay rooted in routine, you crave change like oxygen. You are not meant to stay in one place physically, mentally, or spiritually. You thrive in motion. You evolve through experience. The ordinary suffocates you. Stability without growth feels like a trap. And that's because your soul was designed to expand. You are not here to repeat what's been done, you're here to discover what's never been seen. You carry the energy of adventure. Life to you isn't about safety, it's about truth. You're the one who asks the questions others are afraid to confront. You challenge limits, question the rules, and break the ones that no longer serve. You don't do this out of rebellion, but out of instinct. You know, deep down, that growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. So you push boundaries not to be reckless, but to awaken. And yes, that scares people. Because you reflect the parts of themselves they've kept dormant. People born with the energy of 5 are often labeled as restless. But that's a shallow interpretation of a deep calling. You aren't lost, you're searching. Not for a destination, but for a deeper experience of life. You want to feel every corner of it. The beauty, the chaos, the risk, the reward. You weren't meant to walk the straight path, you were meant to carve your own. Your soul doesn't settle for small talk and surface level living. You crave depth, passion, purpose. And if it's not real, walk away without hesitation. You've likely been through massive changes in your life. Transformations that shook your foundation. Relationships, careers, beliefs, nothing stays still for long. But here's the truth. Those changes weren't setbacks, they were training grounds. You were being refined, not broken. Every ending made room for a new identity. Every detour revealed a hidden part of your strength. While others panic in chaos, you adapt. Reinvention is not your fear, it's your gift. Because you don't just survive change, you become it. But with all this freedom comes a challenge: focus. Your mind is alive with ideas, your heart craves new experiences, and your energy can scatter in 1,000 directions. You must learn to channel your fire, to turn curiosity into clarity, to take all that raw momentum and aim it at something meaningful. Freedom without direction becomes distraction. But when you ground your passion in purpose, you become unstoppable. You don't need to be everywhere, you need to be intentional with where you go. The world needs people like you. People who dare to question. People who redefine what's possible. You don't fit the mold and you were never supposed to. You're here to challenge the system, rewrite the rules, and liberate others through your own authenticity. Your life is a message that it's okay to evolve, to explore, to not have it all figured out. Because the journey is the point. You are the wind that carries change, the spark that ignites revolutions. The energy that reminds us all freedom is not a luxury. It's a birthright. And you, more than anyone, were born to claim it.if. Your birth year ends in 6. You were born with the heart of a guardian. You carry a deep, sacred responsibility within your calling to protect, to heal, to nurture. People feel safe around you without even knowing why. You radiate a quiet strength, the kind that doesn't need to raise its voice to be heard. Your power comes from your ability to love without condition, to stand by others when the world walks away, to give more than you take. And in a world that often glorifies self-interest, your selflessness is nothing short of revolutionary. You are the one others turn to in moments of crisis. The one who remembers birthdays, who notices the small shifts in energy, who shows up when it matters most. You don't just offer support, you become it. You take care of people not out of obligation, but because it's who you are. And while that care can sometimes go unnoticed or be taken for granted, it doesn't stop you. Because you understand something deeper, that true strength lies not in domination, but in devotion. Not in force, but in presence. You've likely felt the weight of others' expectations. Maybe you've been labeled too emotional or told that you care too much. But what they call too much is actually your superpower. You feel deeply because you were born to hold space for pain, for joy, for healing, for transformation. And yes, that kind of heart can get hurt. You've probably given your all to people who couldn't match your depth. But still, you love. Still, you show up. Because that's what real strength looks like. It's not just surviving, it's continuing to love in a world that hasn't always loved you back. There's a natural wisdom inside you. You have a gift for seeing people not just who they pretend to be, but who they really are. You read between the lines, you sense what others can't say. And in your presence, people feel understood. That's rare. That's powerful. You remind others of their worth, even when they've forgotten it themselves. You bring peace into chaotic situations. You bring clarity where there's confusion. And sometimes, without even realizing it, you save people from their own darkness just by being who you are. But your biggest challenge is remembering to care for yourself. You give so much so freely that you often forget you're human too. You have limits. You have needs. And you deserve the same care and devotion you pour into others. This isn't selfishness, it's survival. Because when you're empty, you can't pour into anyone. You must learn that saying no doesn't make you unkind, it makes you strong. That rest isn't weakness, it's necessary. You don't have to carry everyone to prove your worth. You are worthy simply because you exist. You were born to bring harmony, to bridge gaps, to be calm in someone else's storm. But make no mistake, this isn't a soft or passive calling. It takes an iron will to be gentle in a harsh world. It takes courage to care when apathy is easier. And every time you choose compassion over judgment, love over fear, grace over ego, you live out your destiny. You are the one who reminds the world that love is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. S. Or what does your birth year's last digit truly mean? It's not just a number, it's a message, a mirror, a code written into your soul before you even took your first breath. It reveals the essence of who you are beneath the noise, beneath the expectations, beneath the mask the world told you to wear. Whether you're the visionary, the empath, the builder, the rebel, the repator, or the healer, own it. Stop apologizing for your truth. Stop minimizing your magic. You were designed with intention. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be real. To stop shrinking to fit in and start standing tall in your divine blueprint. You're not here by accident. You're not random. You were chosen to be exactly who you are for a reason only you can fulfill. That number isn't just a digit, it's a destiny. And now that you know it, live it.